Hello, everybody. My name is Stephen Riznyk, and I'm going to give you the equivalent of a legal consultation on investing in the United States. I get a lot of calls on this. I've conducted seminars all over the world, and what I want to do is consolidate this information in such a way that you understand it. And at the end of watching this short program of ours, you'll know what it takes so that the questions that you ask a lawyer after now are going to be more specific to your facts and not how does the general law work. So let's start from the beginning. The three main ways of coming in as an investor: the E visa, the L visa, as in Lima, and then the EB5. Now, I'm not going to discuss the EB5 here at length because I'm going to create a separate program on it. And there's a lot of information on our website, myimmigrationattorney.com, on the EB5. Massive, more than any other visa or green card situation that we've covered. The EB5, let's get it out of the way. I like eliminating things and coming up with the answers. EB5 is for people who have at least $500,000 to invest. And you can either invest $500,000 in an area of high unemployment, or in a regular metro area, you can invest $1,000,000. You have to hire 10 U.S. workers for 2 years, and they have to be full-time, which is considered to be 30 hours per week, not 40, which is kind of handy. Doesn't have to be for all of the 2 years. There's some complex formulas to have to meet in order to make this happen. But again, it's for people who have a lot of money to invest in something like this. And then there are people who have a lot of money but don't want to be involved in the business aspect. They've created what are called regional centers. So the law has created this opportunity for companies and individuals to create a regional center. You can invest in the regional center, leave your money there, and the company will then execute on the business plan and meet all of the requirements for the government in order to get you a green card in a couple of years. It's not my favorite method of entering the United States. I like the E's and L's because they're a lot easier, they're a lot safer. I think like a businessman rather than a lawyer. A lawyer, for me, law is a tool that we use in order to achieve or protect our means and ends. But I've been in business since I was 13. We're the first firm to combine business law and management consulting. So we look at things very differently, and I'm going to try expressing with you the way I've learned to look at these things in a way that's going to make sense so that you can make a decision on what works best for you. So, having eliminated the EB5, what's left are the E and L visas. Now, the E has two categories, the E1 and E2. And these categories, the E1, for example, is for people involved in import and export. E2 is for who I'm really going to deal with now, which are 99.99% of our calls, the investor. And the L visa, which I'm going to cover afterwards, is for people who already own a company in another country. The L visa has some great advantages because you can apply for a green card a year after having your L visa. And if you qualify 1 year later, you'll have a green card. And you don't have to advertise your position as you do with what's called the EB3, which goes under perm, and you have to advertise to show that you're the best qualified, blah, blah, blah. You don't have to do that. So consequently, the L is a hard case to win, but if you qualify, it's a beautiful case to win. The E's and L's are brother and sister. The term used with them are slightly different, but in essence, they're very similar in nature. In order to qualify for the E visa, which we'll discuss first, you have to be from a country that has a treaty of navigation, friendship, and commerce. Now, which countries does that include? Well, if you want to talk about it generally, it includes Canada, it includes Mexico, it includes most Western European countries, and it includes Australia, which is an exception to the treaty rule. And Israel just got on board with this as well. Now, there are many other countries that qualify. If you go on our website, myimmigrationattorney.com, you'll be able to see the list of treaty countries. And be careful when you read that list that you notice what you're looking to do, because if you're involved in import-export, that's the E1. Some countries only qualify for the E1. Some countries only qualify for the E2. Some qualify for both. But right now I'm talking to the entrepreneur, And most of the people who call us on e-visas tend to be either first-time entrepreneurs or relatively new to it. They're looking to make an investment, change their life, move to the United States, and they're trying to find a method to do it. If you don't qualify for the E, hopefully you qualify for the L, because the nice thing is, unlike the E, where you have to be from a treaty country, the L allows you to be from anywhere in the world. So if you're not from a treaty country, let's say you're from China, let's say you're from Russia, the Ukraine, then start a company, grow it like crazy. When you've run it as an executive or high-level manager for 1 year, you can then qualify to apply for the, uh, the L1. Now, again, when you're starting a company or when you're trying to create an enterprise, what you have to keep in mind is what's called the greed factor. The e-visa is not intended for you to come into the country, support your family, and there you go. Because you're basically then affecting the job market in the United States, and that's not what they're looking for. They're looking for you to have a company that either now or in the future, in a very near future, has the potential of contributing to our economy. It has to be a company that's going to grow. You have to be greedy. You want to have to make more money, create more jobs, offer more opportunities. That's what the government is looking for. Now, is this going to happen overnight? Absolutely not. You know, you're going to have issues with respect to branding, building up a firm, etc., if it's a brand new firm. And that's going to take time. You can lose money for a few years. I believe it's up to 5 now. But at the end of the day, you should be making money. However, your business plan, which is going to be a key to all this, will also demonstrate what you've got in mind with respect to how you're going to build it up, because many companies take a lot of startup capital. Which brings me to the first question everybody asks: how much do I need to invest? With the E, there's no set sum. There's nothing in black and white. But really, you know, now putting my consultant hat on, if you don't have $100,000 to invest, you shouldn't be opening up a company, because the cost of marketing, advertising, hiring key employees, furniture, inventory, computers, software, everything together, it's easy to spend $100,000. And if you're trying to build a company that's going to grow, then you obviously have to seed it with enough capital to provide it with the opportunity to grow. Now, the L1 can allow you to invest less than 100,000, but again, not so much less that, you know, it's not a serious business. And we'll be discussing the L in length further down this discussion. Now, with respect to the e-visa, something comes into effect called the marginality test. So what the government looks at is how much you're investing and what the business really needs. For example, let's say that you're starting up a restaurant. A lot of people do that. You want to invest 50,000 in a restaurant. Do you think you're going to get a visa? Probably not. Why? Because in order to build up a restaurant, 50,000 is not going to cut it. And you're going to need a lot of things, and the restaurant will not survive. So the government's not going to bring you here and have you lose money. But more importantly, as a businessman, I don't want you to lose money. I want you to succeed in whatever it is that you're doing. So you want to run it properly. And if you go to our other website, sandiegobizlaw.com, we're going to be creating some programs such as this to help you with the various aspects of running a business so that you understand what's involved and what it takes, and this way you can make it successful from the get-go. Now, having discussed that, people say to me, how long does it take to get this visa? Well, first step, you have to make the investment. You cannot simply put the money in the bank. So if you've made the investment, we've created a case for you, which takes about 3 to 4 weeks to create if you do it right. You can either apply for what's called a change of status in the United States, or you can apply for the visa at an embassy. Let me tell you the difference, because that's quite a mouthful. If you enter the United States, if you're looking for a business, because with an e-visa, you can start your own business, you can buy an existing business from a business broker, and we can help you with those as well, or you can buy a franchise opportunity, and there are many of those to choose from, some very good ones. Some of my clients have become very wealthy with those. So you can do it whatever way pleases you. But you must actually make the investment before you can apply for the visa. You can't just simply say, I have the money in the bank, because guess what would happen? All these people would apply for e-visas, they get it, they take the money out of the bank and hang around the United States for a couple of years. So you make the investment, we submit it. If you're in the United States looking for a business, as I stated, enter on a B1. There are two visas for visitors, the B1 or the B2. The green little I-94 card that gets you here for 3 months isn't going to work because you cannot apply for a change of status. A change of status basically changes your status from that of a B1 to that of an E2 while you're in the country. This can all be done from inside the United States. Let's say you come here, you find a business you like, you start setting it up, you're applying for the E2 visa, you make the application in the United States. So for, let's say, 3 to 4 weeks to create the case, to pay the government what's called a premium processing fee, then you can get an answer in a couple of weeks, and bingo, everything's said and done. Now, they can also come back to you with questions called RFEs, or requests for evidence, and in that case, it's going to delay your case a bit. But, let's just say under 2 months would be a good time if you've got all your ducks in a row, which not everybody does. If you're abroad, or let's say you want to come here, buy a business, then go back home, fix your affairs, we can apply for you at the embassy. And in that case, you're looking at anything from a couple of weeks to a couple of months, sometimes as long as 4, depending on how backed up the individuals dealing with e-visas are at the embassies. However, if you prepare a change of status in the United States, you have one small glitch. Sooner or later, you'll want to travel. You won't be able to travel until you go to the embassy and get your visa stamp. Once you get your visa stamp, then you can travel back and forth freely. So sooner or later, you have to visit the embassy. My advice would be file the case with the embassy at the get-go. Why? First of all, most of them, no, not all of them, but most of the embassies that we deal with will give you a 5-year visa right away. You do a change of status here, you simply get a couple of years, and then you have to renew it again. And when you renew it, it's all the same work as if you had just started a brand new case. Because again, the evolution of your company is taking place, everything's changed. They want to know where you are, have you met your previous milestones, what are you doing? So that's the answer to the first question, how long it takes. It doesn't take that long once you find the business. Second question, apart from, what can I invest in, is can I buy a house and have that be my investment? Absolutely not. Why? That's not an investment. I mean, yes, it can make you money, but it doesn't need somebody highly qualified to oversee the enterprise. So buying a house, buying 2 or 3 houses doesn't, because you can hire a management company. You're looking for something that requires you, and that's going to be the key difference. So you can buy, for example, let's say a dozen homes that you're going to rehab and sell. That works. But buying 1 or 2 houses or buying a car, no, it should be an active business. The question I get asked after that, can I invest in an American stock? No, that's called a passive investment. You need an active investment. So regrettably, that won't work either.